But now, without further ado, let's get into the chill jam session. But
Yeah,
first,
sorry, are you
oh,
recording this then?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
recording this, yeah.
Thank-
Let me double check. Yep, recording's happening.
What a
So,
legend.
first, we've got some announcements. Well, one major announcement. We will be having a winter break game jam. It's happening, it's slapping, it's bipping and bopping and bapping.
Stay tuned for more info.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
More games, please.
Yes, please make a game. Okay, and then I put a music time slide, but I'll just put in a little introduction on like what I think makes a song, in that it's got three main parts. I'm just gonna put this little introduction here to for people that want to hear something before I get straight into my process. So, I find that the song most songs are made up of like a melody, a harmony, and a rhythm. The melody is the part that the person's gonna end up humming to themselves. The harmony is the part that like goes in the background so that the melody doesn't sound all alone. And then the rhythm, which I consider to be the most important part, is the piece that sets the pace, keeps everything moving, keeps everything going. Oh, went a bit too fast there. So the melody and the harmony, they mostly work together. You don't need both. If you wanted to have something that sounded more sparse, you could make do with one or the other, as well as also most of your variance is gonna come like most of your variance in mood is gonna come from the melody and harmony, where or about half of your variance is gonna come from that, where different instruments will have different moods. Like electric instruments generally tend to be a bit more harsh sounding, and then lighter instruments like recorders, woodwinds, flutes, those kind of things. Those are gonna make it sound like more airy and more like woodsy. And you can use whatever instruments you want if you think it sounds good. There's no hard and fast rule with music, which is one thing that I like so much about it. And then rhythm, which also no hard and fast rule, can be whatever you want as long as it keeps the pace. Um, what is more what is more rigid about this is that you'll want rhythm for fast music, and you'll want slow rhythm for slow music. That's generally how it'll go. Fast is more intense, slow is less intense. And now we'll go over to Boscasiol, and I will shift my screen, change windows. Okay. So before we start, I've got something that I was like working on earlier today, so I'll play it for like a couple seconds so you guys can get a good idea of like how loud this is gonna be. So this is about gonna be the volume that we'll be working with. So now we got a
Slaps.
yeah, thank you. Okay, so we got a request before this meeting started to do some more of like town music, some more chill, laid back music. So we'll take the BPM down to about 100. Boscasiol starts you off at 120. Oh yeah, I should probably also go over some of the main things of Boscasiol for people that haven't looked. So here you've got the play button, the pause button, and the stop button. Stop button will go all the way back to the beginning. Play will play, and pause will stop where you hit pause. You can create a new song by hitting new song. Be warned, if you don't save, Boscasiol does not care. It'll make a new song anyways. Save will save a song that you can open up later in the program, and export will let you export it into a format that you can use for games and whatnot. Arrangement, we'll get back to this later, but this is basically where you'll drag and drop stuff onto here to more or less build stuff up as you write it down. Instrument is going to be where you play around with what instruments you're using, what they sound like, their volume, and all that other stuff. And advanced, which we won't get too much into, but it's got some neat features. Or I mean, we can get into them after if you're interested. So what I like to start out with, especially in Boscasiol, is this little thing down right here at the bottom. You might even miss it, down bottom right here. You can choose your scale, and it'll give you a whole bunch of different give you a whole bunch of different options. The main ones that you probably have already heard of is major or minor, and then blues is if you want something that sounds jazzy. So we got the request for some town music, so let's start off with some, we'll put it into major scale, since major scale generally sounds happier. We'll just take a listen to what it sounds like. Space can be used to play and pause. And if you look at the right here, you can see what octave it's in. Now this is in 6th octave, that's going to be pretty high up there, so I'm going to move it down an octave, because I will want to make this part more or less my bass line.
Is there any reason why the higher octaves still had sharps?
Oh yeah, no, that's because what Boscasiol does is that, so normally, if you have it set to scale normal, it'll show you all the notes available to you. Currently I have it set to be C, based on C, and when I select major, it'll hide every note that's not in the major scale. So if I wanted to make it so that I could see sharps, and I could go to minor and then it would show me the minor sharps, or I could go to normal and it would show me the normal sharps. But for now I'm doing major to keep the sharps at bay.
I think he's asking, like, if you scroll up a bit, you can
Mhm.
see the sharps in the major mode.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it was
Why
just
is
like
that?
right when you loaded it in.
Yeah, so if you go to
Yeah, right
like
there.
this, yeah,
No, this is normal, but when you were
Oh.
in major,
like right down here at the bottom here, there's like a little hamburger menu you can pull up, and that will give you the ability to select from these, and major scale will, at least when you choose C major has no sharps, so it doesn't
yeah.
show
But look
you.
at octave 9. Like, there's
Hmm.
a C sharp
Oh,
and D sharp,
interesting.
and yeah, that's what he was asking. I think.
Gotcha. Let's take a listen to it. Okay.
It might have went away after a second, but that was a bit.
Yeah, no, I see what you're talking about. There's a C sharp up here. What happens is when you click up here, it brings it back down. So I'm clicking all the way up here, and it's putting the notes down over by the 6 in the 6th octave. So I think that's just saying where the limit is.
Hmm.
Don't know why they write it like that, but that's what it means. So yeah, so we've got these notes, and then we'll just we'll want to have the bass line. We'll make it mostly longer notes, so I'm not going to make it as short. So let's. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I see what happened. The notes are still there, but they don't show them to me, so I'm just gonna.
So it's a bug.
Of sorts, yeah. One I had not run into myself, but experimentation can always lead to new things. So we'll start off with it's not gonna sound too fancy. It's just gonna be, oh, gotta pull it onto the arrangement or else it won't play. So now we've got a little bit of a bass line. And we'll add a couple more notes, just doing major triads. Nah, let's not do that, but let's see what happens if we put this one. Now that sounds kind of interesting. So now we'll just add in another instrument. This will end up being more of our, more of a melody mainline thing. So what I did there is I added a new instrument, and I selected from the instruments, and then in the arrangement I added a new thing, and then that'll let me track this in here. And I'm just gonna set the scale to major because you can do all of these independently. And as you can hear, now it's got both of them on at the same time. on and go farther. I should probably have no mic up as well now that I think about it. So let's get some.
Can you make the patterns longer?
Yeah, you can make the patterns longer if you wanted to. I'm just gonna pause that real quick. You could lengthen it using these this 8, this 16, and that will should make it longer. Yeah, there we go. So now if I go over here, you can see it is doubled in length, although I don't know what the yeah, okay. So yeah, you can make individual patterns longer. That'll probably actually help us out here, since I don't imagine that we will be making this too exciting. But yeah, what we'll want to do is we'll want to take what we have here, and what I like doing is I like taking it down a little bit, like just a little bit. So let's see what that sounds like. Let's get rid of that for a quick second. It sounds different, which is nice. It's nice to have a little variance in your music between little bits, but you want to, if it doesn't sound right, then there's nothing wrong with making it, changing it up a little bit. Okay, so let's see, we start on C. If we go down to G, G is the fifth of C, which fifths and firsts usually sound nice together, so I'm going to try that out real quick. Let's try not ending on the second. But this is going to be a lot of trial and error, is usually what music ends up being. And if something doesn't work, then you just switch it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I kind of like the sound of the bass, so I'll try and see if I can move around this melody a bit to see if I can get that to work with it. Let's see, what note does this end on? This ends on, let's look over here, that ends on E, so let's try and match that up. And let's try switching out brass. Let's try putting something more woodwind. And it already sounds nicer with a clarinet in there instead of what I had before. Okay, now instead of going up, let's try going down a little bit. So we'll start at C once more and bring it down. Okay, let's play around with that, see if that's good, and we'll just add another melody bit. Okay. Oh, gotta bring that up a little bit. Went in wrong octave. Nope. That sounded not so good. So let's try doing some steps. Shorten that down a little bit. Okay, let's see what this ends on. This ends on an E and an F, so whatever we do here, we'll want to keep either them the same or nothing around them too. So we don't want to do either of these two because the note here is this, and that will be really close. And that will, if you're going for dissonance, that'll sound dissonant. Let's see, so we've got F. Generally what you'll find in, at the end we've got F, so what you'll find in an F chord will be F, A, and C, so we'll probably want to try and end on one of those. I'll try out, we've already got an A right there, I'll try out C. I'm just going to lengthen these out to kind of keep it uniform between Okay, so now we've more or less got the basics of what we want, so now we'll just need to take these and layer them. What I like to do is I like to bring it in piece by piece. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can just have it going straight in from the get-go, but I'm gonna put it in so that we get the bass line first to make sure that whoever's listening to it can hear it, and then at the end I'll just put a few of these, it'll just be the whole thing but with drums. And that'll be a quick and easy little town theme. I'll just bring these over here and then we can take a listen to what it sounds like. And it'll repeat whatever you select down here in this bottom bar here. If you double click, it'll go from where you double click to the end of the song, which is a nice little time saver.
How did you change the volume just there?
Yeah, so when you go into the instrument tab, you can select an instrument, and then you can
Oh, I see.
use this volume slider here. And then, oh, we should probably find a way to end this song. I just realized that we didn't have one of those put in place yet. So if you go all the way over to the right side of arrangement, you can click to go over. And I think we'll kind of taper it out. We'll put in the it's a slow song, so we won't make it too long, but we will gonna put in the one measure, or one of these bar things of background, and then the melody, and then this way it'll kind of fizzle out, so we'll probably want to end it on a different note. So an easy way to end it would just be to put in the root note, which in this case is just going to be C, so that's what I'll do. Let's see. It's going to be C6. Okay. C6, and then I'll just drag that over. And now if we play these three bars together, so that's like a kind of short ending if you don't want it to loop forever. So we've got a couple options. I could try and do something a bit faster paced if you want to hear that, or I can try and spruce up this this basic song by adding a couple layers to the bass line. It's really up to whatever.
Layers sound nice.
Okay.
I'm a fan of layers.
Okay. So let's try adding some layers. I'll do something. I'll try doing layers down below, and right now I'm just going to be working with get rid of that for now. I'll just be working with 1 and 3 on their own, just so I can oh yeah, you right click to delete stuff. I'm going to be working with 1 and 3 on their own so that you can hear what they sound like, and then as they change. So yeah, let's do something down beneath it. It never occurred to me just how much longer these are to what I'm used to working with, so so I'll just stick with just a one, and then we'll move on to the next one. So if we make something really low, those would be acting like pedal tones. That was too low. So let's go a third higher, because the major straight down instead of there being like a little jump. And with this one, let's try going up a little bit higher, see how that sounds. This one loops very nicely into itself because it goes, if you're trying to make something sound conclusive, you can always make it sound conclusive by adding the third note above the root, or in this case C, then the second note, and then the first note. In this case, when it loops back around, it goes 3, 2, and then 1, which makes a nice resolution. Just add a couple notes here and there, see if they sound good. Okay, now let's see what happens if we throw in its accompanying fourth part. Now let's put them together. Okay, now let's try listening to the whole town theme. Okay, so I think overall it sounds fairly alright. One thing I probably would change is I'd probably put the melody out front instead of the bass out front in this instance, so that it starts out with a melody that's kind of more coherent. Yeah, okay. So I guess that more or less does it for this pretty fast-made townish melody. So feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions. If you want me to pull up something else, that's also an option. If you want me to play this one through all the way, see how it sounds with this in the front instead of the bass-ish part.
Could you? How easy is it to switch this to like a daytime song?
Yeah. So if we wanted to do a, well, I'd say to switch it to a daytime song, you'd probably definitely want to use a lot more of G, because one thing that I do notice when I'm looking through this is that it really only ever goes up to F. It goes up to F there, and it goes above C, but it only really sticks on G there. G is the fifth, and if you get a lot of firsts and fifths in the song, it'll probably sound a bit brighter. So a little bit of music theory. I kind of wanted to avoid doing too much music theory, but like, so the root is gonna be is a major sound. If you do, or like if you go chords of like the if you do the chords of the major scale, the first is gonna be major, the second is gonna be minor, the third we don't talk about the third, the sixth, the fifth is gonna be also major, the fourth is gonna be major, the sixth is gonna be minor, and the seventh is gonna be either minor or diminished. I don't quite remember, but we do use a lot of the stepwise, which will get us a lot of seconds and a lot of sevens, and those make it sound a bit more somber. So if we wanted to make it, and we could also speed it up as well. I did kind of slow it down. So if I were to like speed it up back to the 120. Let's move it over here. So yeah, using more fifths, in this case the G, would probably make it brighter. I might try experimenting with that, yeah. As well as also speeding it up does also make it a little bit brighter as well. Let's see. Yeah. So if I just switch that out. So yeah, just by even moving that up to be a instead of C E F, instead of it instead being C E G, it kind of sounds brighter already.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier you said that the three components were melody, harmony, and bass.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't have harmony, right?
Well, I kind of treat these 1 and 3 sections as kind of a harmony, because the melody is going to be like this do 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 bit, unless this part's more catchy, then that would be the melody. I feel like the best way to describe harmony would be anything that is not the melody but also carries like some tune to it.
So what would the bass be?
Or I said in the presentation, I believe I said melody, harmony, and rhythm.
Or rhythm,
yeah.
Sorry.
So in this case,
what's
in this
Yeah,
case,
what's
the rhythm would be, for the most part, carried by the melody, what I would consider the melody and the harmony. Like if you like tap along to it, it'll be like a constant like. Like everything happens like right on the beat, and there's like nothing really messing around too much with it, so it's like there's like a kind of it keeps its rhythm. Like there's a lot of, yeah, especially with like, if you look here, you can see how this bottom part doesn't really change all that much, like except for here, this bottom note is always on the beat, so that's mostly what the rhythm is in this case, like before it gets to the drums. And like I said, the rhythm can be whatever you want it to be, as long as it stands out as like putting something to like kind of like walk to or like clap your hands to kind of thing.
So I've got a question.
Mhm.
I realize it's something you created pretty quickly, but say you were to expand this to like be a recurring to create a soundtrack for a larger game,
Mm-hmm.
what would you isolate from this as sort of the motif that shows up repeatedly in other pieces as well?
I'd say whatever is whatever stands out the most. So like if I were to play this, like there's a lot of moving parts, but I feel like in my opinion the part that comes out the most is this part where it goes do 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 do. So that would probably be what I would use more often than not if I was trying to make a motif of something. And like even then you don't even need to, if you keep the same rhythm of this, so if you do the, like it doesn't even need to be the same notes, but if it's like the same movements where it goes up and then goes down and then goes up again, you can just keep that. It doesn't even need to be the same notes exactly. Let's see what happens if I try and make that but put it into minor instead of major. So I'm just gonna copy those out of there, and if anyone has any questions while I'm doing that, feel free to come in and ask them. Ooh, that could be like an evil town there. Definitely putting something in minor is definitely a easy way to make something evil. So yeah, it's like I'd say that makes a pretty good like change on the theme a little bit there. Making a town that just sounds a little bit creepier. And if there are no more questions, then it has in fact been the hour. So I thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have good tunes and great bops.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.